Overwatch still receives a supply of tellurium from the foundries and fields of opportunity. After a jumpgate realignment, the Habitat class superstation was cut off from most of the technology it requires to manufacture ships from its dedicated shipyard. Even though it now depends on Albion for these technologies, Overwatch still has much to offer the system since it provides food and energy to all the stations still scattered across Serpentine Haze and Fatal Path. More importantly, however, it is home to thousands of Teladi civilians and the headquarters of the Teladi Union, making it the first port of call for any traveler coming to Fields of Opportunity.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome on in. I'm back, and a little bit later than I intended on being. Apologies on that. Usually I try to get started around 4:30 or so, but it's been it's been a relaxing day, but also a day. Let's put it that way. So welcome on in, everybody. Welcome. I hope everyone is doing well. Hope you're all healthy, happy, and all of those things. We're back with some more coding stuff here. So last night we got this. I think the last pieces of this Vulcan engine stuff for chapter 6 of the tutorial however, when we go to run it, I don't see anything on the screen. Now, either it's the camera's in the wrong spot, or I'm not shading it properly, or just things just aren't correct somewhere along the way. Obviously something's not correct, because when I close the window it continues running, so that's something we'll have to look at, because closing the window should stop the execution. So something's happening there that isn't quite right. But more importantly, I need to figure out and debug why I'm not seeing anything on the screen. So last night we were debugging some of it, and sorry, I'm just looking at something. So I know image index was incrementing. So that was working. I don't know. We're gonna have to kind of go through the execution. Like, there's no errors happening that I know of, which tells me that at the very least Vulcan is happy. But something I'm doing is not making it to where it needs to be. So we have the swap chain show image here. So where are we at over here? So engine. So where's the swap chain here? And we'll see. Make sure that there wasn't another change in here that I've missed. That's the one thing I'm having. That's the one thing I'm struggling the most with, is that as we go from one chapter to next, each chapter is building on the last, but a lot of times things are getting lost, like differences from one chapter to the next are starting to get lost a little bit, because it's just there's so many classes involved right now. So it's and and because it's taken me so many weeks to get to this point, like I may pick up somewhere and then forget that I left something else undone. You know. So acquire next image, image stack, acquire next image, KHR. Wait, that's acquire next image. That's where's the so present image resize false. Render complete semaphore get ID. Stack longs. For IDs. Right, I put them into the structure details create present info. Swap chain image index. Swap chain count 1. Int long. Swap chain image index. Alright, and then in here, VK structure type present info. KHR. Wait, semaphore stack longs. Swap chain count stack longs stack ints. Image indices. Okay, error KHR swap chain VK cube present KHR. So resize true. Okay. Image views dot length. Image views is a list here. That's why I did size. Hey, Tech. Welcome on in. It's going good. How are you doing? I'm just getting a later start than I anticipated. Oh. Alright, so that's fine. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out so everything compiles and runs without an error, but I'm not seeing anything on the screen, so I've missed something along the way. String just decided to eat. Oh, I had no one chatting, so no loss. Oh, okay. Yeah, no problem. No problem. What is going on here? Okay, so that all looks like what they had in the thing here. So I guess the only thing So for renderer submit. So this is the render. So this is the Vulkan renderer, right? So in their renderer, yeah, they do the record and then the submit. And then the show image, which is what I am doing. Acquire next image. So int buffer, okay, VK acquire next image, swap chain 0L, semaphore lists. Wait. VK acquire next image, device, and then ID. They have 0L there. 0 long. Why do I have max? Oh, they have 0 long because that is the max value. It was, yeah. You know what? Do that. I mean, that should just give me long max value, but we'll just do that just in case. Current frame, VK semaphore, memory till null, IP. Right, buffer. I mean, I doubt that is the thing, but yeah. Yeah, that's just not the thing. So, device, swap chain, timeout. Yeah, that's the timeout. So, let's do that. It's funny, you still keep getting people, different people asking to just make a game. Yeah, it's, I mean, like you're too old to care. Yeah. You want to relax. Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things, right? It's like, it's a lot of, it's a lot of thanklessness. Yeah, I mean, like you gotta, like, there's a certain level of, muck you have to kind of rake through, even for the simplest of games. That it's usually just not worth it. It's easier to just like wait for your perfect game to come along. And that's kind of, I mean, that's been my feeling a lot too. It's just like that's why I'm kind of focused on just doing this just to learn it, not to necessarily create anything worthwhile. I mean, something will come out at the end of this probably, because it'll be a lot of work to not have something come out the end of it. But I'm not going to sweat it. You know what I mean? 50 kids all grown, too many years working hard. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. It's yeah. And I mean, and a lot of that is I think a lot of that is just the nature of the internet right now. Like we've because it's not just games that are getting it. It's movies. It's TV. It's it's everything now. Where it's just like no one you can't you often cannot find a genuine reaction to anything anymore because people with genuine reactions get buried. Like their opinions are um, buried by the algorithms because the algorithms favor rage bait and all that stuff, right? So it's like there are reasonable people and reasonable opinions still exist. You just never get to experience them because the hot takes have taken over the asylum. Those would be crying like toughen up, Buttercup. Welcome to the real world. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was I think a Mike Rowe video uh came up in my feed earlier, and he's you know he's a good dude. Um, and so I was watching some of it. I didn't watch all of it, but there he was arguing for like shop classes and stuff to return to high school and all that stuff, and I have no problem with that idea. I think my thing though is it's not just shop classes. It's everything that promotes creativity, right? And practicality. Not only creativity, but also like practical knowledge too. Um, because I may not have gotten into programming had my high school not had like it wasn't even an honors course. It was just like a special course that they offered that let us basically it was an independent study. My high school had like an independent study thing where we were allowed to on our free period um, teach ourselves how to program in the computer lab, and it was just like four of us. And had I not had that opportunity, which was just a random opportunity as it was, um, I might not have gotten into coding. I might still be trying to search for something to do. Yeah, more IRL life teaching stuff too, banking, saving. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that was the other thing that they were talking about was like home ec classes and stuff, which I also agree with. Like that like we're so stuck on theory that we've missed the boat on practical knowledge. You know, and I think that's and that's the same thing even in colleges, right? Like colleges are so set up for um, uh, theory and textbook stuff that when you graduate and then you try to get into the career that you were aiming for, you find that you don't have any of the practical knowledge you need to do the career. You end up, if you're lucky, you learn on the job. If you're not lucky, you end up not even getting a job, uh, doing what you want to do, because you just don't have the foundational real life knowledge that you need. You've got a lot of textbook knowledge, but not a lot of blue water, knowledge kind of thing. Big lie in a joke. They tell kids to take classes that they could never use. Yeah, it's that was the thing that frustrated me the most, um, going into college, is that I didn't really. I mean, first of all, I didn't really want to go to college in the first place, but I needed to in order to get my foot in the door at all in this career. Like, they just don't even give high school graduates the time of day, which is a real shame because there's a lot of people, a lot of talented people that just never even get an opportunity, to show their talents, which is, I still don't agree with that. Um, I never agreed with it in the first place, but it was just the way it was, and and I didn't go to I couldn't go to a decent college because I just didn't have the money. I had to go wherever I could get any kind of scholarship, which even back then, if you didn't play any sports like I didn't, getting an academic scholarship, what you would think they would have plenty of academic scholarships available, but nope. It was all sports. It was all about sports. You know, just think back, in my day, did coding all on my own. It was good with it too. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's ultimately what I did too. It was like, um, by the time I got into college, I had already started coding on my own. I was already teaching myself C and all that stuff. So I already had like a baseline knowledge, which I needed because even our computer classes in college, they were very heavy on the theory, but they were not very heavy on the actual learning. Um, so a lot of stuff, like, they would throw a lot of stuff at you and not really explain it too well. Um, and I remember our freshman class had, like, I want to say 30 people, as computer science majors. And by the time I graduated 4 years later, I think we were down to like six, because it just, so many people just were like, you know what? Screw this. This is not clicking. um, and that's a real shame because they probably would be really good. Like, they all enjoyed what they were doing. They probably would have been very good at it. It's just they needed someone to give a damn and actually teach them, and not just profess at them as to what they're, all this theory and stuff. Like, give them practical things to work on. Give them things that would actually engage their brains, engage their minds. But that was also my big bugbear with just school in general, grade school, or elementary school, high school, all that stuff in general, was that it was so focused on test scores that it sucked all the fun of learning out of it. Right? You did what you had to do to get a good score, and then you forgot it because it wasn't really that interesting in the first place, or at least it wasn't presented to you in an interesting way. Um, I've mentioned before that, like, one of the things that always got me was history class, right? Because history class focused on two things that I'm really bad at: remembering people's names and remembering dates. I've never been good at that. Like it never has clicked with me. I can remember faces. I cannot remember names, and dates just nothing. Um, and that was on my own. Like I stumbled onto like programs on like PBS and stuff, and I learned more from those programs on PBS than I did in school because they actually presented things in a more entertaining, more interesting way, um, a way that I could click with better than what was going on. Um, it's just it's a real shame that we just kind of like, even back then it felt like school was a challenge to overcome rather than a partner in making you a whole person, you know? He's like a Tesla coding yet. He went to work for them for 15 years now. Today he has his own company, network testing and security. Yeah, I'll do stuff. Went nuts with it for a few years. Yeah, I mean that's basically what I did. I like, um, the early internet. I was on the early internet, just kind of finding all the information I could find. I you know, I picked up books. I bought hard copy books, and especially ones like that had CDs, as a part of them, and just plug the CD in and get your development tools and all the demos that had all kinds of game demos on it, you know, that I would play that were meant to be like inspirations for stuff you could do. And I mean that was the primary way I did it. It wasn't the ideal way, but you know, the important thing was no one discouraged me from doing it. You know what I mean? Um, and so I was able to just kind of just keep on rolling with it and do what I could. Um, and we had computer classes. We didn't have programming classes, but we had computer classes, and so that in and of itself sparked my interest in like how do computers work and stuff. And that's really the point is not, expose kids to enough things that they find something that they latch onto, and recognize that they've latched onto something and encourage that, like, don't just throw the kitchen sink at them and then say, oh, my work here is done, you know without like following up and even if you're not the expert in what they like, find them someone who is, so that, or hook them up with resources that are primary sources that they can look at, and get them to experience the joy of learning stuff, the joy of having those light bulb moments. I think too many people have gone through life without that, and then they get out on the internet and they think, well, I'm not going to waste all this time trying to be an expert in something. I'm just going to say some random thing, get a bunch of attaboys for it, and then that's good enough, right? Get a bunch of virtual attaboys. It's like, no, you gotta, like, you want to actually be an expert at something. It takes work. It takes, it takes time. It takes effort. Um, you know, And 99% of the time, you'll never be recognized for it. Right? I mean, that's the, I guess, they you'll get recognized more for saying the wrong for being wrong than you will for being correct. And that's kind of how screwed up things are. Love to use bookstores. Yeah, let's give up and do trucking. Yeah, I mean it is what it is. You know, like there's plenty of people who got so far as starting their career and worked in as computer programmers for a couple years, and then they're just like, you know what, it's just not for me. And then they went and found something else that they enjoyed. You know, it happens. It's just, you know, that's there's nothing wrong with that. That's just, you know, like, in fact, it's probably a good thing, right? Because it means that you don't feel trapped. You're just like, you know, you understand what you like and what you don't like, and you can go type out a word acquire. Anyway, yeah. So that's where it goes. That's where it goes. So I wonder. I mean, I could step through this one line at a time. I think that's might be what I have to do. That might be the only way I can figure out what I've missed here. Maybe. I guess. See, I was going to say it might help to download their code and run it. But I'm trying to think of how I can reconcile the two things. Like, even if I read, because presumably their code just runs. Um, you know, I mean, maybe it doesn't, but like, presumably it does. So then I'd still be left with the question of what difference, where did I go astray? So one way or the other, I'm gonna have to step through this, like, probably one line at a time. This is the problem, right? Because it's like this is why having so much boilerplate code annoys me, because we had to climb such a huge mountain just to get to where we're at. And now that we're there and we have something running, it's not running the way we're expecting it to run. And now you have so many things that are untested along the way that could be broken. And that's my big bugbear here, is like, I wish that the Vulkan API was, you know, I wish it was closer to OpenGL in terms of being a proper API, where it like hides a lot of these details, or takes care of a lot of these details for you, because it makes the surface area that you have to debug much smaller, right? So when you do something wrong, you can zero in on it a lot faster. because this is like the worst case scenario, right? There's no error happening, but there's nothing on screen. So it could be any number of like little tiny things here that is causing it. It could be just, you know, the wrong color even. I thought, my first thought here was that maybe I'm shading it with the wrong color. That's not the one I wanted to look at. And maybe you know, it's not, maybe that's why I'm not seeing it, but UFrag color is red. RGBA, right? Red, green, blue. So it's full red. So I would think the shader is kicking in. Now maybe the shader is not attached properly. That's why you really got into visual coding. It's simpler to find errors. Yeah, no, true. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. But this is, this is not, as I said, this is not necessarily a function of written code versus visual code. This is more a function of the library in use, right? Like if this was OpenGL stuff, like when I was having problems with the OpenGL stuff, it was easy to debug because there wasn't a whole lot of surface area to debug. There's just so much boilerplate when it comes to the Vulkan stuff that it's like there's so many moving pieces that aren't really moving, but they are there anyway, that it just makes it that much more of a pain in the butt to find that one thing that I tweaked incorrectly. I wonder though. So I know from debugging that so wait, UFrag color out vector 4 UFrag color. I should have a reference to that, right? That should be in the shader compilation somewhere. Or maybe not the compilation, but the somewhere it should be reference. Shader module data. Shader stage. Vulkan shader program. Create module, shader module, blah blah blah. Destroy shader module. Create module. Okay, that's just the creation stuff. So where swap chain render pass? File layout, store up, load up. Like if I do a search for UFrag color, see those are the only 2 points that that's the only file that has it. And I would think that I would have a reference to it somewhere. Because my guess here is that I am actually drawing the triangle, but it's black on black. Or it's maybe not black on black, but it's like it's the same color as the background color. Like even if I were to change the background color, I bet it would still be the same color as the background color. And my guess is that now in that shader, it tells you what color to use, and my guess is that the color that's coming out of that shader I don't have actually wired up somewhere. And I gotta figure out where I have that disconnect. So here's where we load up the shaders, right? We compile them. Put them in a pipeline. buffer. Command buffer. Vertex buffer structure. So, health modified. Vulkan shader program. List of shader module data. Okay. Number of color attachments 1. Vertex buffer structure. What is in here? Binding descriptions. Okay. Pipeline create info. Just a record. Okay. Let's go into the pipeline cache. Vulkan frame buffer, Vulkan command buffer. Stray frame buffer, yeah. This is all hardware stuff. That's image views. Swap chain. Where do I actually populate the swap chain? Wait, what do we got here? So in the constructor, surface device, swap chain info. Swap chain. Then, shader program, chord command buffer, init viewport, viewport, scissor, bind meshes. Command buffer end recording. This is in forward renderer, right? Let me see something here. Record command buffer reset. End render pass, end recording. End recording, okay. There's a begin recording. Somewhere here, right? Wait, what are these, where are these clear values? Clear values. So, wait, command buffer reset, and then I think I put all these into here. Yeah, there's the clear values. So I've got what? 0, 1, 2, 3. So I got 0.5, 0.7, 0.91, 0.5 points. So 0.5, 0.7, 0.9, and 1. Oh, hey, hey, Jackaboy Games, welcome on in, and hello, Luffy. Welcome on in, or Luffy. Java effects. No, this is Java, lightweight Java game programming library, LWJGL. That is, and I'm trying to do both OpenGL and Vulkan stuff. So LWJGL is most famously used by Minecraft. It's the library used by that. It's fairly popular Java library. I wonder if this... See, I thought the clear value was the background image, but I wonder if this is... Let me do something here. So 0.5F. 0.7F. 0.9F. And 1. Let me just for the sake of argument, because maybe I misinterpreted what the clear value is. No, that is definitely the background color. Okay. So I was right with that. I want it to be a black background color. Okay. Alright, so that was correct. Being 0. LWJGL used to have CUDA documentation. Any clue what happened to it? No idea. No idea. I only started using this like 3 months ago, so I have no idea what has happened since before that. And I've had my head down in just doing like tutorial stuff, so I've been really in their GitHub looking at their tutorial things and not really on their main site. So that is the clear color. Init viewport, create. Okay. So that makes sense there. Clear values with height. Structure render pass begin info. Yeah, okay, all that's the same. So begin render pass. Back to graphics programming. Yep, pretty much. Pretty much. They removed it from the GitHub in one of their commits. Example projects. Oh, yeah. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't working, or maybe it was. Maybe with the latest NVIDIA drivers, something was going on with it. Did anything new yet? So I last night finished. Well, I got all the code in for the chapter 6 of the tutorial that I've been following, and what we're supposed to see is this, pretty much. Although I've changed the background to be black instead of the blue. So we're supposed to see a red triangle with a black background. Unfortunately, I'm just getting the black background. So I'm trying to figure out what I missed along the way that is causing that. Also, when I close this window, it's not quitting the application, so I gotta figure out what's going on with that too. So basic rendering pipeline, yep. What's the graphics debugger for Vulkan? So it's there's some KHR thing um, library that actually I haven't installed. I don't think so. I probably should do that at some point. Um, there's some kind of KHR debugging thing um, that will tell you the actual like it's the validation layer that will do validations for you. And I guess maybe that's what maybe I should do that because maybe there is an underlying problem that's being reported and I'm not seeing it because I don't have the validation layers turned on. I should probably do that. I've neglected it long enough, I think. So what do I have to do? I mention it, I think, back in chapter 0, maybe. Vulkan SDK. Maybe chapter 1. Main class. Render and scene window. Input. Where was that at? First steps, memory stack, creating Vulkan structures. Layers. Here we go. To use validation layers, you need to install the Vulkan SDK on your platform. Please consult the specific instructions for your platform. Support validation layers. Alright, well, let's go see what this says. Vulkan SDK. Can you use render doc? Okay. Let's see. Okay. So what does this do? IT licensed standalone graphics debugger allows quick and easy single frame capture, detailed introspection of application. Okay. Oh, it was an actual download. Stable tarball. So what is this? Okay. That's okay. Not really what I'm looking for right now. I don't think. Yeah, what I need is the validation layers here, which I don't think I've put on here yet. Never use the Vulcan, use the left rope and deal. Yeah, I mean, that's good for, like, once I have something going. But I'm trying to see what the validation layers are, because I want to see if there's, like, if there is an error that I'm not logging. Okay. Went through packages to newer SDK month of May. Oh, okay. Use the tarball. SDK. Installer. I guess I just run the SDK installer. Okay. I guess that's what I do. Alright, so where is it at? What was the name of it? Vulcan something? There it is. Tar mix VZF Vulcan. Why am I not getting SDK Linux? Okay. It's not command completing it. LSVUO. Something's wrong here. It's not command completing. Which has me a little bit concerned. So, tar exe. So, oh, all right. I guess I'll do it in here, because that's weird. I don't want to type that whole damn thing out. I'm too lazy.
Please note that any space weed consumption aboard this station is against the law.
Is it blue by default? No. Are you trying to change the background to black, or is it an issue? It's an issue with drawing the triangle. Yeah, the background being black is fine. It's just the triangle itself is not working. So, what do we got now? Started guide. Okay. Sub ENV. LD library path. Add layer path. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. POSIX shell script. Okay. What are you doing? Install dependencies. Build everything. Script to build repositories are useful for Vulkan development. Help clean. Loader, this will build, so all. Let's build all repositories. Okay. Sure. Oh, it's pulling directly from repos. Great. Awesome. Headers, tools, GLSL, Lang, headers. Okay, fine. Fine. We'll just do it. Did you compile the shaders? Yes, the shaders are compiled. Over here. So I just have the fragment shader. It's very simple, and the vertex shader. And they're both compiled. And am I passing positions to the shaders, or is it coded into the shader using a vector 2? So that's the one thing that I'm trying to figure out. Because like it's setting the color here, right? I don't, and that's coming out, but I don't see me referencing this anywhere, which is what's throwing me off, because I definitely have the stuff in, where is it, in not main, but Vulkan engine. Like, see, the way they have it is they were manually creating the vertices and the indices here, right? But I don't see any, and all this is in memory correctly, but I don't see any reference to stuff coming out of the shaders, and that's what's got me a little confused. And I don't know if that's correct or not correct, or what's going on, because I'm still trying to figure out like how these things work, and it's not really it hasn't clicked with me yet. So like we have the model here, and I'm reusing the model, not reusing, but I have the model based off of what I was using in OpenGL, but then also Vulkan model here has, like, I prepare meshes and stuff, so I've got the vertex buffer and stuff getting transferred over to the GPU. I just don't know how it references stuff. Where are you using the create test model? So that is called from the main loop here, although it's outside the loop. So I call it when we come into the main rendering loop. I load it up, and then the main loop runs over doing the render pass and stuff. And then this is, it's basically going over the models, which there's only one, and then calling this prepare model, which sets up the command buffer and then records the copying of the, this is the copying of the meshes, right? Yeah, this is the copying of the vertex and index buffer over into GPU. And then it ends recording, and then it sets up a fence, and then submits that to the queue.
We have reports of an outbreak of argon flu in this sector. All visitors,
And
please report to the
cleans it
medical
up.
bay for inoculation.
Which might be the thing that's, I don't know if the cleanups, this is the problem, is like this, well, no, this is just a prepare model, so this is only called once, so it does all of its cleanup and stuff after it's copied over. Where is the render pass in the loop? So, where am I at here? So in here, I've got the render call, which waits for fence, does the swap chain, calls a record command buffer on the forward render, and then submits it to the queue, and the show image. And this is really the thing that's being called in the loop. So in here we've got, now see, swap chain extent is not being called. Did I miss something here? I bet I missed something here. Because this is grayed out, which means it's not being called. Not being used. So I bet I missed something in here. Record command buffer. Where are we at? Forward renderer. Forward render activity, record command buffer. Where is the... Is it swap chain extent? Is that... Yeah, swap chain extent. Width and height. Oh, I'm using the wrong variable for the wrong thing here. That would be a problem. That would be a real problem. Potentially. No, I just have... No. Did I change... Because that doesn't have a get width. VK extent 2D. Wait. Hang on. Oh, width height. Okay. And then... Okay. Yeah, it's width. Yeah. I wonder if that... Let's just try that. Let's see what happens. Okay, well, we're no worse off than we were. So there's that at least. Did I miss it elsewhere in here? So was it use 34, 44, 83? Okay, so 83, 84, 85. That's it, okay. Chain get current frame. Oh yeah, no problem. No problem. Alright, well that was one problem. Chain width, swap chain height. Okay, then we just use those everywhere. Which is good. So then this. Let's see what I'm doing here. Chain width and height. So the offsets were 0 and 0, right? Yes. So I did that right. And draw indexed. And render cast. Where's the So I put the draw index in. I think I put it in the bind meshes here. Yes. Okay. Did 1 0 0 0. Here it was 1 0 0 0. VK index type uint 32. Offset 0. Okay. Buffer. Scissor. And the viewport I do back here. I did 0. Swap chain height, swap chain. Wait. 0 height, negative height. Yeah, I did that, okay. Swap chain width 0 1. Command set viewport 0 viewport buffer. And stack. And then this I called with what did I call that with? Swap chain height, swap chain width. And then that's what they had here, right? They have height and width. Yeah, that's right. Height and width. The scissor has extent and offset. Extent is width and height. Offset is 0, 0. So I have those. Although VK Rec 2D collect 1 stack. Yes, I have that. Okay. Okay, so that should be correct. Set viewport. Command bind pipeline. Where are we at here? Pipeline bind point graphics. Subpass content inline. Let's begin render pass. Okay. Tutorial file shows you can set as VK command buffer command handle. Yeah, I didn't directly copy all the variable names and stuff, just because I don't want to plagiarize them. Yes, it is. Command buffer, get buffer, same as get VK command buffer, yes. Yeah, it returns a VK command buffer. Yep. Yeah, I don't like to copy things word for word. My goal is to learn it, and so I'm trying to like make the wording make sense to me. Wherever I can. So frame buffer. Command handle returned by get VK command buffer. Maybe a reference, and each of those methods are saying different things in it. I think you're just reading it the blank one over and over and over. It's possible. Command handle returned by VK command buffer, maybe a reference. Each of those methods are getting different things in it. buffer. Well, I can look at, let's look at the Vulkan command buffer over here. Or just command buffer as it was. So they've got VK command buffer, private final. VK command buffer. So would it be worth trying to set a command handle? Because your get buffer is just returning a read only. Let me see. Set command buffer. Get VK command buffer. It's initializing new that you can write to. VK command buffer. Let me see. So they've got, so this is doing, so when I created the Vulkan command buffer thing here, it created a VK command buffer, and it set it to buffer. Right, so when so we had the buffer there. So get buffer. If it's get though, it's Java's not referencing like, well, it's, yeah, but it's the buffer is created in the constructor. Right, this VK command buffer is from LWJGL. So that's created by that one, right? Referencing to a class in order to change a variable and set instance of class would mean it would have to be in the stack though. Yes. I mean, it'd have to be in memory. But it's final, so it's a constant right now. Right. Let's get buffer. Well, yeah, it's getting the reference to it. Yeah. Right. Reading it over and over in each of those methods. UK command bind pipeline. The buffer is not a reference. You need to initialize it like it shows the command handle. Okay. Command handle. So VK command buffer. Long handle. So where's buff? Break command buffer allocate. info. Yeah. So command pool, stack. Yeah, okay. So it's allocated this. So that's there. And then that is passed into this guy. All right. So it's allocated a handle there. So then, so Vulkan command buffer. Let me just see if I did the same thing that they did here. Get VK device, trace, command pool level, stack malloc pointer, VK command buffers, VK info. VK command buffer. Is that get 0 VK device? I mean, I'm doing what they had there. As far as I can tell. So set the command handle and then pass that to the methods. Begin render pass in place of command buffer get buffer. It's in the forerunner. Yeah, I'm in record command buffer. Yeah, but it's what should we call it? Pass that, set the command. But it is set, right? Like I've created a new Vulkan command buffer, and in here it's allocated the handle for it, right? And I put it into the VK command buffer here, right? Unless you're saying I need a different handle for each one of those, but that's not what the tutorial has, right? Like the tutorial is using that same handle for everything that I can see, at least, unless I'm missing something like huge here, which is entirely possible. Because like they're referencing VK command buffer, right? And they're doing a begin recording and stuff, right? In the actual record command. Okay, all right. So in the record command buffer, so for render activity here, record command buffer. All right, so we have a. So where did command buffers array come from? Command buffers. So here's command buffers, new command buffer, number of images. So they did an array of command buffers based on the number of images, right? See, under begin recording, it sets the command handle. Yeah, so hang on. So where am I at? Command buffer. So begin recording. It sets the command handle. So command buffer to command buffer get VK command buffer. Command buffer. Let me see if I can see that here. buffer. Oh wait, are you talking the under begin recording? It says command buffer. Give VK command buffer. VK command buffer. We're talking. We're not talking. You're not talking the forward render activity, right? You're just because you're talking begin recording, which was that other, which was the command buffer. So where? So command buffer, give VK command buffer. Where's that? If I can. So VK command buffer. Okay. So over here. VK command buffer. So begin recording. So, what am I looking for? I'm looking for. Render. Hang on. Hang on. Oh yeah. Command buffers is a list. Yeah. No, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. It's taking me a minute here. It's taking me a minute. I know this is frustrating for you. I'm sorry. It's taking me a minute to get there. It is. So command buffer. So I do get. So command buffers is a. They have it as an array. I did it as a list just for my own clarity. But I am getting a different. I should be. I mean, we'll have to look to see that frame is changing. Like I can put a debug statement here. But I should be getting a different command buffer, assuming I created different ones the way I was supposed to. So let's see. So swap chain get image views for each. So this is when we create a forward renderer. I have a Vulkan command buffer class. Yes. It's right here. Yes, this is the Vulkan command buffer class. So in here, so essentially if I go back here, I should be, based on the swap chain, the number of image views in the swap chain, I should be creating a new command buffer and adding that to the list of command buffers. And that is initialized to an empty array, or empty list, sorry. So where is get buffer exactly? So get buffer is, if I just follow this guy here, is in my Vulkan command buffer class, and he's basically just a Pojo getter. So like he's just returning this buffer here, which should be, where do I set this at? So I set this in the constructor, and I do call the command buffer allocate info stuff. Now, that being said, I should, hopefully this buffer, this pointer buffer is different every time. It should be, but you know, if that keeps giving me the same reference over and over again, that would be a problem. But I'm assuming that this is giving me a different memory reference every time. And this you can ignore the structure utils there. This is basically just calling the Vulkan malloc pointer and all that stuff here. Although, did I put that? Wait a minute. Malloc pointer. I passed this into the thing, right? Yeah, here it is. Allocate command buffers. Buff. Okay, and then I return that. Yeah. So that's there. And then I take the result of that and I put it into this VK command buffer, which is a LWJGL class that takes the handle and the device, the VK device, and I just store that into this Vulkan command buffer class, and then that's what get buffer references here. Now that said, where are we at here? Take me back to where I was. So command buffer. So I'm doing command buffers get frame. So let's just see if frame is incrementing. Just because that, I mean, it could still be a problem that frame is just constantly giving me the same number back every time. So let's just see what happens. So frame is 0. Frame is 1, 2, 3, 0. So then what is the, if I do command buffer, that's not it. Can I see the step forward one here? So command buffer is a pointer to that memory reference, 0x757E3, blah, 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 blah. And that is VK command buffer at 3002. So if I run it again, frame 1 here, and then I should get So command buffer 3011. So it's a different object here. That pointer looks suspiciously the same though. 0x757E3D2F. Let me inspect. Let me keep that here for a second. Or can I pin that? Yeah. And then I go forward one more. And so we're looking at command buffer 0x757E3D 302D. Okay, so it is definitely a different, or it looks, at least assuming that that's printing out the memory reference, that looks like a different memory reference, at the very least. So there's that. I wonder what's on the screen right now. Nothing. Huh. Okay. So I think those are correct. Now the frame buffer. How about the frame buffer? 3031. So there's the ID. There's the memory reference of the frame buffer. So can I inspect that? Pin that, and then run forward. One two nine 18505 2764992. So that is different. And we're on frame 3. Okay, so the frame buffer, that's 3041. So that appears to be also different. So I think that's okay. I mean, at a glance, it appears to be okay. That's not to say that it actually is, but I am initializing the viewport every time, which, I mean, they had that there, so I assume that you have to do that every time. It seems kind of strange, but like I'm setting the clear value every single time on every single frame, and doing the render press begin info. I mean, maybe that's correct. I think that's how they had it. Begin info. Pipeline get ID. Create viewport. Create scissor. I mean, this is the other thing. I was thinking maybe my viewport is incorrect and I called it out of visibility. But let me come down to this section here. So I got model bind meshes. Vertex buffer 011 011 offsets so run that. Okay. I wonder if the stop this for a minute. I wonder if this is not correct. So for each model, I'm binding meshes. So I'm going through for each mesh. You got the vertex buffer and then the offsets. Vertex buffer, but index get. Wait a second. Did I misinterpret the? I think I misinterpreted the draw index. I bet that's what I'm doing wrong. Where's this at? See, he's doing. Or they're doing. Number of indices. Mesh dot number of indices. Vulkan model, Vulkan mesh. So which is just a record, right? So number of indices in a Vulkan mesh. So where do we put that? Final list, Vulkan mesh. Mesh data indices. Yeah, it's just doing a length on there. So that should be correct. Mesh data indices. Mesh data. Model data dot mesh data. Model data, mesh data is, so positions and indices. Positions and indices. So if I look at So Vulkan engine here. Create test model, set vertices, set indices as 0, 1, 2. Alright. So that is this guy. So the number of vertices. Oh. Yeah, I screwed that up. Yeah, I've screwed that up. Because this is not a calculate number, this is just a Pojo. Number of vertices. Only has one usage. The set has no usages. Yeah, so I need to do get indexes. Okay. Hang on. Get do that. There it is. That was my problem. It had no, I was telling it to draw nothing. I wasn't giving it the correct length of the number of indices to draw. Okay. Well, we knew it had to be something stupid, and it was something, it was a goofball move on my part. Okay. I made an assumption about something that was incorrect. Oh, good. All right. Awesome. Now, let's figure out why when I close the window, it doesn't stop. So let's see if we can debug that part. Which hopefully will be a lot easier to debug. Okay. So I'm doing the window poll events. So I'm doing window should close. Now, I am this rendering loop I took from the OpenGL rendering loop because it looked very similar, but they do have some differences here, and those differences might be my whole problem here. Let's see. So they've got a variable called running. Because they've got engine. They've got a stop method, start and stop method on here, which I'm not using right now. Like, they've got this set up as though it would be a thread, which I'm not opposed to. I definitely want this to be multi-threaded, but for my purposes right now, I don't need it to be. That being said, where's engine stop called? Maybe I should track that down. It's just, that's a different chapter. So the answer is it's not called, which is kind of what I thought. So they've got window should close, or not window should close. App logic input. So I wonder if they're, when they're doing their, I'm in the correct chapter here, right? Yeah. So I wonder if they're, when they're processing their input, if they're doing something. So main. No, input is to be implemented. Okay. Okay. So Windows should close. So I wonder, is there an update's not doing anything either? What update? Okay, so they do cleanup afterwards, right? App logic cleanup, render cleanup, window cleanup. So they do cleanup. So window, does window cleanup do anything interesting? Now they do set the key callback for escape, which I think I have. I think I brought that over. Welcome window. I call GLFW destroy window, GLFW terminate. And I free the error callback. Should close is calling GLFW window should close. Now maybe that's something. GLFW window should close window handle. Window should close. I don't have the set should close. I don't think they call that anywhere right now. No, they don't right now. They do have resize, which I need to do here, I think. Init. Clean up. Yeah, let's do... Let's implement the resize. Unless, did I... No, yeah, I think... Did I call... What did I call the resize at? 45. 5. GLFW set frame buffer size. Oh, set the size callback. Got it. Okay. So that's why we're doing resize there. So I should do that at least. Width and height. Okay. We've got a Boolean resized. Alright. I'll set that up here. Private Boolean resized. Width and height, and then and then just sets the width and height. Whoops. And set resized and then reset. Resized. Okay, set resized. Oh, we could just do that. And then poly void reset resized. Alright, and then in here, so we say get primary monitor. So they set their width and height to the video mode of the primary monitor, which makes sense. I don't do that right now. I pass in the width and height. But I could provide a method to do that, so I'm not worried about that. Client API, GFLW, no API, maximized false. Resizable true, visible false, okay. Default window hints. Okay, and then create window with height, title. No, handle. Go to create game window. All right, and then they do GLFW set frame buffer size callback. All right, GLFW set frame buffer size callback. And then we want the handle. And then window with height resize. What's window? Oh, it might, no. It's a lowercase w. Where does window come from? Well, I'll put it in there. I don't know where that's coming from. Window with height, resize with height. Okay, where does this come from? Long window. Am I just defining it here? No usage is found in all places. Okay. Okay. That's fine, I guess. Use without try with resources statement. Oh, it's auto closable. Okay, well I don't care. I don't care that it's auto closable. Key callback. Oh, that's where they set the window should close there. But I had a key callback at some point here because I have this still down somewhere. Where was that key? I think it's an engine here, right? Yeah, register keyboard callbacks. Which is going to be a little bit more difficult to do right from there, right? I guess it makes sense to just move this into the window. Probably. Yeah, I guess it makes sense to move it to the window. Maybe. All right. I'll take a quick bio break. I will be right back. Enjoy the music, friends. Hang tight. Okay, I'm back. Sorry for the extra long break there, but I decided along the way to make some coffee. So here we are. Um, okay, cool. So, yeah, do I move? Do I move the key callback into here? See, they don't. I mean, they do have it in here, but you know what? It doesn't really matter right now. It doesn't really matter right now. I don't need to process keys at the moment. What I do need to do, so they have mouse input window handle. So what are they doing with mouse input? Cursor enter callback, mouse button callback. Okay. Left mouse. Okay, that's... Yeah, again, I don't think that's that important right now. What's more important is that I figure out... So in cleanup, they call GLFW free callbacks, GLFW destroy window, and GLFW terminate. So GLFW free callbacks, destroy window, terminate. But I also have the set error callback. To null free, but really this should be... I feel like that should... GLFW terminate. Destroys all remaining windows and cursors, restores any modified gamma ramps, frees any other allocated resources. You must again call init successfully before you use any... Okay, got it. Okay, so I can do the set error callback. To null there, I imagine. Yeah, okay. So that's probably okay. So poll events, GLFW poll events. Now let's see if this is wrong or... Yeah, GLFW poll event. So that is correct. Okay. So the only thing I was missing really was the resize, which we've put in there now. Set resized. The resize callback. Which is fine because I was also missing that in the OpenGL version. Did they use the resized for anything now? Set resized. No, they don't check it. They just have it in there. Okay. All right. Well, let's see. Let me debug it and see if there's... So wait, window cleanup, renderer cleanup. Did I miss something in the cleanup? So Vulkan engine, that'd be main here, right? Nope, their cleanup has nothing. Engine, app logic cleanup, render cleanup, window cleanup. So they clean up the renderer first and then the window. Maybe that is Causing something to stick around that shouldn't be there. It actually makes more sense to clean up the window last anyway. Now let's try that. Oh, yeah, okay. That must have been it. That must have been the thing, because now it's shut down. Process finished with exit code 0. Okay, so it was... I need to clean up the renderer before I cleaned up the window. So the renderer was hanging around. Okay, that makes perfect sense, honestly. So cool, that's working now. Well, that's a good thing. That is a good thing all around. So I don't need to debug that then. All right, let's before I get ahead of myself here, let's go git commit directory, and we'll say chapter 6. Oops. Chapter 6 complete and working. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. Now, holy crap, we can go to chapter 7. As weird as that sounds, we can finally go to chapter 7. It's been... How long have I been on chapter 6? I've been on chapter 6 for like 2.5 months now, haven't I? It's insane. Just absolutely insane. Alright, chapter 7. Chapter 6, the bed there. Chapter 7. Going 3D. First thing we must do is create a depth image. In this case, in the case of the swap chain, images were already there. We just used an image view to access them. This case is different. We need to allocate images by ourselves. In order to handle that task, we'll create a new class called image. Since image creation parameters can be lengthy, we will create first an inner class called image data, which will act as a build helper class using a Fluent style API. Ugh. Okay. Like in the image view class, this will increase readability of the code. I beg to differ. That constructs images. We'll be able to add support for new parameters without breaking existing code. If levels, sample count. Image class, okay. Good morning, digital creator. Welcome on in. How are you doing? Let's see. Instantiate a structure needed to create an image. Samples. Okay. VK create image. Vulkan function. That's good to hear. Very good to hear. Case with buffers. It's just a handle. I mean, I guess I'll do. So what do we get at the end of this? Holy crap, there's less. So they want to do a shaded cube. Let me just follow the chapter and do the shaded cube. I already have a 3D model to load, but I think that comes like chapter 9 or something. So let's just, for sake of my own sanity, let's just follow what they're doing. Passing data to the shaders. That's the other thing I was looking at. I was like, how do you get data to and from the shaders here? When will the class start? Class has already started. If you could call it that. I'm just trying to learn how to do the old game dev stuff here. I'm trying to learn how to make a an engine, basically from scratch. And so I'm just looking at a book that's available online here and just kind of going through it piece by piece and trying to see what I can do. All right. Create the image. VK create image. Vulkan function.
You shall see the error of your ways when I tell the authorities.
Size adequate. After that, we can finally allocate the memory and bind it to the image. Image view. Both the depth image and the associated image view will constitute an attachment, a depth attachment. So we'll handle both objects together. We'll create a new class named attachment that will handle their creation. It'll be handy for next chapters. Okay. Changing vertices structure. Find the structure of our vertices, which basically state our vertices were composed of X, Y, and Z. Not need anything more to display 3D models. Using just a single color without shadows or light effects makes it difficult to verify models being loaded properly. Add extra components that we'll reuse in next chapters. We'll add texture coordinates, although we'll not be handling textures in this chapter. We can use those to pass some color information. Okay. Yeah, now they're getting texture coordinates into the mesh data, which I already have. And properly render 3D models, we need to store depth information. We need to output the depth data while rendering to an image that will hold depth values. This will allow GPU to perform depth testing operations. This means we need to add another output attachment to render pass. We're using swap chain render pass. Okay. Okay, got it. Scene changes. Alright, so we can... So then what else do they need? So scene... do I have, or did I use a 2K ultra wide monitor? Was it curved? How was it so far, especially if it was OLED? So I have a I believe this is a 2K monitor. It's not ultra wide though. It's just a regular width. And it does have a curve to it slightly. It's okay. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. So it's called Titan Army. which was just some random thing I found on Amazon. It's I was more concerned about the connections on the back. So this one has 2 DisplayPort and 2 HDMI connections on the back of it. That was more of my concern than anything else. Like I wanted something 1440p that had those connections, because I have a lot of different computers that need to connect to it, and I wanted to just have them be direct connections rather than have to jump through hoops. So I don't know if it's OLED. It might be because it's relatively new. My biggest problem with this, first of all, switching sources on this monitor takes forever. Like for some reason, it's not like an instant switch from like DisplayPort 1 to HDMI 1 or anything like that. It's like you have to sit there and wait for like 20 seconds for it to switch to the over. And then the other thing is, it is way too bright. Like it's almost like staring at the surface of the sun. It's too bright for, like the picture quality is great, but the brightness is just terrible. Like it just like blows your eyes out. Even like the darkest scene you can come across will blow your eyes out. It's got different modes like that adjust the brightness, but it doesn't remember those modes. So when I turn it off and turn it back on again, I gotta then select that mode again, which is a real pain in the butt. So I wouldn't recommend it. But it works for what I wanted. I didn't want a 4K monitor or anything like that, because I just wanted something that, like, my goal was to just get 1440p enough to do streaming at 1440p, and that was my whole goal. I had all my other monitors are 1080p monitors, so the extra pixels don't give me warm and fuzzy. It's just there for to provide a better streaming experience for everybody else, so that they can get a better quality on their side. So alright, so scene changes. Row in 2D space. I'm going to use a perspective projection matrix. Okay, yep. Yep. Using Jomel to do matrix 4F. Yep. Just having more engine properties, which we'll get to at some point. Same model. And then we're getting into the actual scene here. Enable depth testing. Additions to the pipeline, passing data to the shaders. Here we go. That's the interesting thing I want to get into. And then forward. So in the render, the Vulkan render, we have to add some stuff. Okay. Forward render activity gets some changes. I would think so. And then we have a new creation thing. Okay. Image shader. Okay, alright. I mean, it's a lot again, but it looks like it's I mean, there's changes to existing classes, but it looks like it's mostly some new classes. So that makes life a little bit more straightforward. So go chapter 7 and engine. So we've got. So what was the first one they wanted? So image and image view. So VK destroy image, VK free memory. Image data. Format, nip levels, sample counts, usage. What are we doing here? Why is the I thought they said they were going to do a fluent thing here, but I don't see a builder. All right. Whatever. So we can do image data first. I'm going to make it a separate class because, I mean, it is a separate class. It's just tied to this one. There's no reason to make this class bigger than it needs to be, especially since I have a feeling we're going to be probably tossing this out eventually at some point. So once we get to like actual texture stuff, maybe, I don't know. Some of it probably will come over, but let's just put image data together here. All right, back to the grind. Where do I want to put this stuff? Image and image data. Well, image view is down here. Right? This is... And I'm thinking image view... Oh. Image view data. I've made changes there, I think. Image view. Oh no, Vulkan image view data. We have here. Alright, so let me do the Pojo first. So Vulkan image data. So all integers, array layers, format height, MIP levels. What was it? Array layers, format height. Sample count usage width. Usage and then width. Array layers, format height, MIP, sample usage width. MIP, sample usage. Oh, what did the constructor need? Oh, it's a no arg constructor? Okay. No point in doing that. So this dot format is VK format. RGBA with 8s. 8 sRGB. Alright. MIP levels is 1, sample count is 1, array layers is 1. Array layers, MIP levels, sample count. Alright, and then we have a bunch of setters. Yeah, I'm gonna turn it into a straight Pojo. Screw that. Setters and getters for everything. Because it's really simple to do. There you go. Done and done. In fact, I'm going to put a 2-string on it as well. Okay, so we have that. Good image data, and then I guess we'll just put this under render with everything else. So we got Vulkan image now. we have device, format, MIP levels. Why do you have MIP levels in there and also in the image data? Why? They have a getter on it too, so it's like, why do you have it in both places? So MIP levels, yeah, it's setting MIP levels and format to what's it? Oh, because they did that because they don't have any getters on image data. They only have setters. This is why Fluent shit is so stupid. Sorry, I'm feeling ornery here. I'm getting old man disease. Old man yells at cloud disease here. Yeah, that's so fucking stupid. It's just incredibly stupid. Let's keep copies of. Well, it's not even a copy. It is a reference, so I'll give them that much. They're not wasting memory, but it's just like they're gonna make debugging this so much more difficult on themselves when you have the same damn thing in 25 different places. They do this. They've been doing this with like everything else too, and it's just driving me nuts. So it's like you have the same memory reference to the same freaking object in like 50 different places, and one of these days, one of those references is going to be different than all the rest, and it's going to just throw everything into freaking chaos. All right, so we just need device, VK image and VK memory. So those are probably references. VK image. Or at the very least, like, instead of having them here, right, just like getters in here that just get the format and get the MIP levels, right? Like you have them, right? You have getters here, right? So just instead of doing this, just go dig into the freaking image data and grab it, right? It's like... that's what I say. Image data. They don't keep... see, that. You know what it is? This is the problem. They don't keep the image data around. That's what's going on. So they just pull the stuff out of the image data. Instead of just keeping image data around, which sounds like exactly what they want to do, they pull two things out of it. It's got like 52 parameters, and they pulled 2 parameters out of it. Is image data even past? Oh, they do pull the other parameters. Okay. They pull the other parameters out of it, and then they toss it aside. Right? So Like, wouldn't it make just as much sense to just have a variable called image data? And then you have it as a reference? I mean, it's not like you're not saving that much memory by having that go away, right? It's just a bunch of fucking ints, right? Right? It's like, it's not saving you much by not keeping that around. And it's part of the constructor, so the next time you construct an image, you're going to have to give it a different image data anyway. So unless you're storing image somewhere, you're not really, it's not, sometimes I don't get it sometimes. So we're going to just have device and image data. And then the VK image and VK memory, I guess, are, yeah, they're memory references. Allocate memory, bind memory. Bind image memory. Clean up. Okay. So we need device, image data, image ID, and memory ID. Yeah. Okay. Private. This is probably, I'm going to say, physical device, probably. Device, private, image, or Vulkan image data. Private, long, image ID, private, long, memory ID. Right? Yes. Okay. So then we can do image create info. All right, so we gotta do memory stack first. All right, and then to do create info. And then it's, yeah, I gotta do a bunch of stuff here. All right, so image create info. VK image create info. So we go to structure utils. Static. What are we returning from this? Image create info. So all we really care about is the memory reference to the image coming of it. So we'll say long, and this is create image info. Need to stack, and then I'll just say give me image data. Image type 2D. Sharing mode exclusive. Okay. Extent. Yeah, I think just image data. I need device too, don't I? Yes, device. Get VK device. Yes, that's physical device, image, or look at image data. Image AGE data. I don't. For some reason, it looked like I was spelling it wrong. It's my eyes are playing tricks on me here. Okay. VK image create info. I don't know why that keeps doing that. Where I switch back and forth. After a while, I'll switch it back and forth. Like it stops making this the active window. So I have to click into it. VK image create info equals VK image create info callec stack. S type is VK structure type image create info. Image create info. Image type is VK image type 2D. Format extent. Width, height, and depth. Depth is just 0 or 1? 1. Nip layers, nip levels, array layers. Samples. Initial layout is image layout undefined. Image type VK image layout undefined. Oh, that was initial layout. VK image layout undefined. So sharing mode is exclusive. Tiling optimal. Image tiling optimal. And then usage. Okay, so let's create info. And then long buffer. And then we do the create image. Alright, so open utils, fail if needed. K14 VK. Create image. Right, VK create image. Yes. Device. Image create info. Null LP. VK physical device, is that what it wants? VK physical device? No, it wants VK device. Alright, so device. Image create info null. Okay. Create info null buff. Unable to create an image. Okay. And then we just return LP get 0. Get memory requirements for this object. VK memory requirements. And allocate memory. Oh, okay. So that's just okay. So all that's the next method then. So return buff get 0 here. And then public static long bind image memory. Bind image memory. Memory stack. We need a device. VK device. What else do we need? We need the reference to the image. And that's it. So long image ID. So VK memory requirements. VK memory requirements callx stack. And then what else? VK get image memory requirements. Get image memory requirements. Okay. VK get image memory requirements. Device. Image ID. Requirements. Okay, and then VK memory allocate info. Structure type is VK, structure type memory allocate info. Memory allocate info. Allocation size is memory requirements size. Vulkan Utils memory type from properties. Okay, that's new, maybe? Memory type index. I don't have that. Let's get Vulkan Utils here. So what do they... Memory type from properties. Physical device. Physical device. Okay, VK memory properties, memory types. Oh, don't I have that on? Didn't I put that on the physical device class? It made more sense to actually be there. Yeah, get memory type from properties. Max memory types. Yeah. So I do need physical device here. That's interesting because so this device is definitely, because device is their, no, device is not their physical device. Device is their logical device because they have a physical device class. So they're doing device get VK device. So yeah, that's the logical device. But then you can get physical. I can get the physical device from that. I think so. So I need, yeah. So this needs to take a logical device in. Right, so do device dot get device, and then here do device get physical device dot get memory type from properties. Type and mask. What did they? Memory type bits and 0. Okay. So memory type bits and then 0. Memory type index. That's the last thing we needed there, right? Okay. Okay, good. So then we need a buffer to hold that, right? Yeah, I need a buffer to hold it, and then help you get 0. Okay, and then image and memory. Okay, and then those come outside that. Okay, so do what we did up there. Long buffer buff equals stack dot malloc long 1 vk14 actually Vulkan utils fail if needed vk14 vk allocate memory. So we need device, get device, and then the allocation null, and then LP. Okay. Allocate info null buffer. Unable to allocate.
I don't think that's
image.
a good idea. Dying. That would definitely hurt my profits. You can take such ideas away with you.
And then return buff get 0. And that. So that's logical device. So we come back to here. So this is not physical device, this is logical device. Alright. So inside here we do this dot image ID equals structure utils create image info stack device get device and then image data. And this dot ID equals structure utils build image memory stack device and then image ID. Okay. Create and bind. Create. Or build, I should say. Create and build. Should be. Should be allocate image memory. And then we do actual bind. And image memory. So device, get device, image ID, memory ID, and then 0 probably. Yeah, then 0. And image memory. And that's it in there, and then we just go into cleanup. Destroy image and free memory. Okay. That's not what I wanted to do. What was it? Destroy image and then free memory. Image ID and then just null. Yes. And then free memory is basically the same thing. Cool. Cool. And I'll just put a getter on the image data. There we go. There we go. Okay. So we've got that in place. The image and the image data. And then I assume image view is the next thing we want to change here. Image. Oh no, they're doing attachment next. So both the image and the associated image view will constitute an attachment.
Would like to thank you for buying their product.
All right, so image and so just do attachment basically. Whoops. Okay, attachment image and image view. All right, so here, render new Java class. Attachment. Image. Okay, image view. You know what? I'm just going to say view. And private Boolean depth attachment. What was that normally set to? False or true in the constructor. Aspect mask. All right, so I can just default it to false, and then we don't need line 21 here. Right. Yeah, all right. So depth attachment is false. And that's all I want to do. Okay, device. Yeah, which is going to be logical device. So, device with height format usage. With height format usage. Okay. So image data with height and format. Then the usage is usage or VK image usage sampled bits. So logical order with that. What is it? Image usage sampled bits. Sampled bit. Okay. And so that's image data. Then image is new image device image data. Right. Okay. Oops. It's fucking image. So device. Image data. Boom. Okay. Aspect mask. Zero. If usage and image usage color attachment bit. If
Founded by Kyle Brennan and Elena Coe, TerraCorp has
usage
become one of the most influential
VK14
and diverse organizations in Argonne's
image
Though they
usage
specialize in
color
private
attachment
security and
bit
consultancy for many
is
years
greater than
before the
zero.
Jet shutdown, the corporation also
Usage
developed
color
advanced
attachment bit.
economic knowledge and
Yeah.
even built its own fleet. This put TerraCorp in the
Aspect
ideal
mask
position
equals
to help the system of Home of Light survive the dark that followed the shutdown.
VK image
And
aspect
under the
color
leadership of
bit. So
CEO
aspect
Don
mask
Green,
equals
TerraCorp remains as
VK14
influential and
VK
powerful as it ever was.
image aspect color bit. Yes. Yes, okay. If this is a separate if. So if usage and usage depth stencil attachment bits. So if usage and VK14 VK image usage depth stencil attachment bits is greater than zero. Aspect mask equals VK image aspect depth. Depth bit and depth attachment is true. Okay. Creates a brand new image view data. With a format and an aspect mask. Huh. Okay. Okay, so Vulkan image view data. Wait. Yeah, image view data. Image view data. What does this take? Set format. Image. Get format. Data. Set aspect mask. Aspect mask. Okay. And then image view. So this dot view equals new Vulkan image view device. Image pointer would be image dot image view data, image view data. I didn't put a thing on here. Yeah, I didn't put a getter for the IDs. I should do that. Go. Image ID. And then clean up. And then just getters on those things. All right, cleanup is image view cleanup and then image cleanup. So image dot cleanup. View dot cleanup. And then getters on these. It's view cleanup and then image cleanup. Okay. All right. So that's those first couple of new classes. And then we have to start changing our vertex structure. Vertex buffer structure. Vertex input state info. Vertex inputs state info. Do I have a vertex input? State info? I have a base vertex input state info. Right, okay. Which is abstract, which has one inheritor. Vertex buffer structure. So I do have the vertex buffer structure. Okay, and they just have to... So we just have to change this up. Okay, that's hopefully not too bad there. All right, cool. Cool. Well, I think I am going to stop there for tonight, my friends. We're getting up on 4 hours here. I'm not going to do a second stream tonight because it's almost 10 o'clock and there's no point in me like swapping over right now. So I'm just gonna recover the night for myself. But let's go commit this stuff out there. Commit directory. Started chapter 7. I feel like I don't want to jinx it, but I feel like we're getting to a point where we have like the basic foundational stuff. I mean, there's still some more foundational stuff to do, but it feels like we've got sort of the basic foundational stuff right now. And we can hopefully from here the chapters will be a little bit less chunky. Like maybe I'll be able to get through them a little bit faster and get to a point where we've got our 3D model going and all that stuff. Does this even works though? It does. Does it resize? I didn't try it. Well, yes, it resizes. The overlay doesn't resize, but yeah, my thing resizes. This overlay is not mine, so I'm not that concerned about it. Okay, so it's Mango HUD. Okay. Okay, cool. And it actually closes out on its own correctly. Sweet. All right. Yeah, we're going to stop there, my friends. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching and hanging out and keeping me company and helping me out and all of those things. I appreciate all of it. If you happen to run across this on the YouTubes and you have a like and or a subscribe that you can spare and maybe toss my way, I would be much appreciative. It helps out tremendously. Otherwise, thank you so much, everyone, for watching. I hope everyone has an excellent morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on what it is for you. And I hope to see you back here again in the future for some more stuff, whatever happens to suit your fancy. Until then, see you, bye.
space.